Well, I did promise as the weeks went on that we would have an update from Gary Lamb from Manx Telecom, because it's obviously very important that we're all at home, we're doing things we want to do. And Gary, I mean, the questions I suppose are really much the same as before. How is this impacting on you as a company at the moment? What's the latest?
Yeah, actually, we've kind of moved into a kind of normal position, if you like, in terms of how we're operating. We've now adjusted to all the changes we needed to make. For the first few weeks, there were a lot of discussions, obviously, about coronavirus, a lot of things we had to do in terms of getting our people out of the offices, into their homes, something we did very early and has worked very well. We spent a lot of time looking at the network, making sure the network has been performing. We've made a number of adjustments to the network when we've got feedback from consumers. Again, just trying to get the network to perform as best as we can. What's been really encouraging, you never know how things are going to perform in a very strange situation like this. And one of my concerns was, if everyone goes home, what's the network going to perform like? And actually, it's performed pretty well. We have seen around early evening where you typically get the most usage. That's gone up a little bit, about 10%. But during the day, the usage has gone up, but it's still nowhere near the levels we get in early evening. So actually, network's held up really well. The other thing that's really noticeable, everybody's really stepped up. During a crisis like this, your team, our team has really performed fantastically well. They've all had to make big adjustments working from home. We've all had to adjust, and it's very different. It has been really intense, so really pleased with that. And then things like the shop, we had to shut the shop quite early. Again, we've then very quickly adapted so that we can provide a service online, so you can buy online now. And we're actually now in a position where we now have changed the shop so that we can reopen as soon as we're allowed to. So, we've gone through this whole cycle of closing everything down. Now we're looking at opening things up. We opened up this week. The engineers are now able to lay fibre again, only doing outside work and obviously adhering to social distancing rules. And we're able to do maintenance and faults. We're not yet able to get inside people's homes because we are not allowed to do that. And once we are allowed to do that, we will let our people go into homes, provided they've got all the necessary safety equipment, and do an assessment. And we'll then be able to get people connected again on faster broadband, etc. So it's been a real journey, but actually I think the network has performed particularly well from what we've seen.
I was thinking actually that the 4G wasn't overused. People were actually going at home and they were streaming on their usual Ultima machines or whatever at home. So you haven't been pushed too much on that either. Is that true?
No, as I said earlier, I mean, we've seen that the capacity has been a little bit higher than we'd see early evening, sort of 10% higher. But during the day, it has obviously increased, but it's not reached those peaks in the early evening. So actually, it's performed really well. Touch wood, we've not had outage issues. We're obviously babysitting the network as you'd expect to make sure that it works and performs as we expect it to. So it's been really good so far, and hopefully it will continue.
So you're all set then for the next phase. Do you know actually how long until the government's going to be able to bring you back online, in that sense of having the shop and getting into people's houses and so on, or are you just waiting to hear from them?
We don't know. We're in the same position as many other businesses. Obviously, we've been able to get our engineers out in the field now to roll out fibre, which is great, really important. We keep on with that very important project for the Isle of Man. But when it comes to the shop, my expectation is in a small number of days or a week or two, I hope we'll be able to get back into the shop. The shop's all been prepped so that a customer can come in. There'll be a flow around the shop. We've got perspex screens up as well, like you see in places like some of the supermarkets on the island. So we're very well prepared. We're just now eager, once the guidelines have been changed, to be able to get back out there and serve the public, but in a safe way, which is obviously critically important.
So Gary, when this is all over, do you think you're going to see complete changes to the way people are working? I mean, a lot of people have obviously been working from home. They're working remotely and not in the office. Do you see changes like that carrying on?
Yeah, I do. And actually, I think it's important that we take the benefit of these changes and we continue to use the technology, for example. A lot of us in business, we travel a lot. I think a lot of us now realise, you probably don't need to travel as much as you used to. Why don't you use the technology? The technology works. So we are making a conscious decision to change the way we do things going forward, so that we get some real positives out of what's happened over the last few weeks, and we try to change the way we do business. So I think it should be very positive in some ways for many companies, but we've got to make sure that we do take those positives and we do work differently in future.
Interesting to say that, because obviously video conferencing is pretty data heavy, maybe. Still, I don't know, the compression is pretty good, but you must have seen an increase in Zoom usage and that sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, Teams, Zoom, Skype, huge increase in usage. But I think this links into the fibre programme. What's really important for the island is that we get fibre rolled out as quick as we can. We've been rolling out fibre for some time now. We're past something like 20% of premises on the island. So we will continue to do that. In fact, we'll accelerate that so that we can get fibre. So, if we ever find ourselves in this situation again, we'll be even better prepared, because we'll have fantastic broadband and fibre on the island. So tools like Zoom, Teams, etc., we'll be able to use those. It'll be very straightforward. We'll be well prepared if we ever have to go through it again.
That's one thing I'd say about you. You were well prepared. It seems a long time ago since we did that interview in the car park, because we were still having issues where we should do the interview, and it didn't quite feel real almost at that stage. But you had planned even then to have everything, people working from home, locked down in the building, no one going in.
Yeah, I mean, we have business continuity plans running all the time, and what we did is we refreshed them very early on when the crisis started to break. Then we took a decision very early that we were going to get our people into their homes. That gave us a period of time to really test the continuity plans, test the technology, and then we got used to working at home. And we've been running the company, and it's been pretty straightforward after a number of weeks just getting used to it. And now it's the new norm. I think one of the challenges we'll all face is, some people might want to continue to work from home.
I was going to ask you that. Are you going back in the office?
Well, I think we will all maybe change a little bit, and we'll maybe a little bit more flexible in our hours. I think, personally, I will do a little bit more work from home. I will use the technology, and I won't travel so much. And it's interesting, some people in the company are already saying, what, I'd rather stay at home. I'm not sure I want to come in the office. So it needs some serious thought. But, why not? I think we need to change. Why wouldn't we change? We know we can all work from home now, and before, we may be not sure, but we can. So let's change it. Let's be as efficient and effective as we can.